Jatin. Jatin is, so if you actually look at the list of TAs, I think everyone's name will be listed. So Jatin is a PhD student at the Educational Technology Department at IIT Bombay. Then we have Ishika, another PhD scholar from the Educational Technology Department at IIT Bombay, who are the TAs from the tech department. We have one more TA, Nandan, who's due to some scheduling conflicts, he was not able to join till now. Hopefully, he'll join in some time. The other set of TAs whom I want to introduce, I think I'll go in the order in which I see them in my screen. So first is Ambili Joseph. I think Ambili, you were one of the first set of LCM participant, right? Or run 1 or run 2, right?
Yes, sir. Run 2.
Okay, so Ambili is coming from the second. So she was a topper in the second version of LCM course that we ran, I think in 2019 Jan. I don't remember, but yeah, this is the fifth version of the course. Then I have Ilavenil. I think Ilavenil, you are also part of the same group, if I'm not mistaken. Or was it one group earlier or one later? Which run were you? Okay, the same run as
19, sir. Yes.
Okay. So yeah, 11 are and Ambili are. If you look at the alums of the course, they are the senior most alums of this course. Then I have Dr. Hari Singh Dhillon. So you are the latest alumni from the course, right? The batch of latest alumni from the course. Then Dr. Siddhi, once again, the latest alumni group. Hemlata, you are also the latest alumni, right? I mean, group, that latest alumni group, right? Yeah. And then we have Kamla. Kamla, were you part of the last run or the one before it?
Just the last one. We are all together.
Yeah, just the last run. Okay. And I think these are the main people. So we have other TAs also, who would be answering some of your queries and some of whose materials you will see. But yeah, this is the group that we have, and we hope that some of you would join us in the next offering. Like what you see right now, the alums of the course. Some of you would also be part of this particular group, and you would be there. I think, let me just introduce one more. So one more TA, Annapurna Madhuri. Annapurna, I think, Madhuri, you were part of the one batch prior to it, right? Or was it the last batch?
Good afternoon, everyone. Yeah, I was a part of the last batch.
Okay. So the recent alums are larger in number. I hope I have not missed out anyone else who has joined the session. So some of the other TAs of the course, let me just name them. So Ajita, Daisy, Vijay Ramraju, who else was there? So these three people are also part of the TA group. So we have a big set of learners who are joining the course team. So this is something that we are really proud to tell you all that all of them bring in their views, and actually that helps us in refining the course content and also looking at course experience as a whole. I mean, across terms, we are able to sustain that kind of momentum. And you can see with these many number of TAs, handling of discussion forum is also very prompt from our side, because every day we have one person completely looking at threads and answering it. So that's one part of it. And I also see Dr. Samir Sahasrabudhe, who is a co-instructor with me in this course. Good afternoon, Samir sir.
Hi, good afternoon. Yes.
Yeah, so it's so nice to have so many faces in the Google Meet when we do the live session. So yeah, so that's a little about the learner-centric MOOC course, the TAs, and obviously you would have understood by now the philosophy behind the course. The philosophy behind the course is making the course more closer to the learner, and yeah, we hope that these kind of ideas will make it more along with what you saw, LEDs, and what you're going to see next week, I think LBDs, all these elements along with that, this kind of personalization would actually make the course more closer to you. I believe there are around 34 people who are watching this live on YouTube. We had actually floated a form almost a couple of days back to collect your queries, and we have a small presentation prepared, and we have some surprises in store for you, which we will discuss towards the end of the session. So without much ado, let me ask Jatin to share the slides. So how this goes about is we'll first address the main queries that we got from the Google form. Then we will look into YouTube chat. I think in YouTube, a lot of you are would be. I think we would have enabled chat, right, Sandeep? I think a lot of chat questions might also come in YouTube. Yeah, so then we will go to YouTube chat, and and there is some 15 to 20 minutes 15 to 20 minutes where we will actually take the additional elements, the surprise elements. We will introduce the surprise elements to all of you. So and I believe some of our TAs might also be answering some of the questions in chat if we are not able to answer it live during session. Okay, so this is the modus operandi. Yeah, then let's share the slides and let us start with the questions. Yeah.
Okay, sir. I'll just share it.
Sandeep, the screen will be shared in the YouTube stream now, right? Okay. So I see a lot of people who are signed in YouTube. Oh, apparently I'm muted. Sandeep, is my audio visible? I mean, audible in YouTube. I see that. Okay, great. So yeah, so I hope things are audible now, and I hope all of you got introduced to the entire team. So let's dive into the so something unique. Today is 2/2/22. We start this session at 2 p.m. It got delayed by 2 minutes, so we started at 2:02. So hopefully the twos will all add up, and we'll have a lot of twos coming up even in discussion forums. So it would be nice to hear your comments on a session at 2:22 at 2. Okay. Yeah, go ahead. Jatin, let's look at the first question. Okay, so the first question is from Sanskriti Menon. Her question is, how can faculty of traditional universities be encouraged to enhance online learning design and move beyond just delivering a talk over Zoom? Okay, before me answering this question, I'll take one of our LCM alumni. Okay, let me pick someone from here. Okay, Ilavenil, do you want to take this question? Ilavenil, are you able to hear us? Okay, looks like she's not able to connect. So let me move to the next person. Okay. Yeah, Dr. Hari Singh, I think I'll directly ask you. What's your thought? I mean, does LCM help you in moving beyond just a, let's say, a Google Meet or a Zoom or any other kind of just a plain interaction kind of session? Dr. Hari, are you able to hear me? Jatin, am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You are audible properly.
Okay. Okay, my TAs are not, everyone are silent. Okay, so I'll start off. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry.
I just had a connectivity problem, sir. Could you just...
Yeah. So, okay, Ilavenil, the question is, how can faculty of traditional universities be encouraged to enhance online learning design and move beyond just a talk? Like what we are doing right now, it's a talk, right? How can that be encouraged and enhanced? Take the LCM context and try to give your response to this question.
Okay. Sir, I think all the concepts like LED, which chunks and provides opportunity for interaction, and the same for MDs, the constant practice activities that we keep doing, they work very well in both traditional and online settings. So whether it's a course or universities. Now that we are repeatedly being pushed blended modes, no matter how much we think it's temporary, we keep coming back to it. I think the response, the student response and the feedback which universities keep collecting, at least as a part of NAAC and accreditation universities, that will be a big boost to adapt or adopt these models. That is what I think. And maybe we talk more about it and advocate these things. That is what my opinion is.
Sure. Okay, I think it's a valid point. So if you look at the LCM course, it's actually a philosophy that we want to imbibe on you. And that philosophy is nothing but active learning. Okay, a student cannot just listen to lectures and just from lectures, I mean, they may be able to understand. So, okay, let me just put this back onto all of those who are now live. There are 57 people who are live. Okay, so here is a quick poll to everyone. How many of you actually think that just by changing the way you create videos or changing the way in which you interact in a Zoom session, just by looking at LED, how many of you have made that change? Can you just post your answers in that YouTube chat? You can just go there. I'm able to see the questions that you are saying, and I will be also able to see the responses. So yeah, so there are a lot of people, 59 people who are watching this now. And some of you just post in the chat after attending or going through the LED or the previous week materials. What kind of changes have you made in your own, let's say, synchronous delivery? So the point that Ilavenil wanted to try to convey is the design philosophy is the same. Okay, so the design philosophy is the same. Let me just get a sense of how many were able to do that. That's the first thing that I'm trying to do right now. So let's hear from people in YouTube. So we'll just. Okay, CE Urban is saying that. Oh, hi Sanskriti. So I think we are directly addressing your question. Good to see that you have joined in YouTube. Could you just write? Just spend a couple of, maybe 1 or 2 lines on a specific area where you have made it. You asked about Zoom meeting. So if you have tried it in Zoom meeting, can you just mention where exactly have this happened? So for all the people who are watching this particular live streaming, let's say at a later point of time, you will see a chat stream coming up onto the left hand side of the video. Okay, so let me just share my screen, and let me just yeah, so yeah, you will see the same YouTube thing over here, and you can see that people are you are actually seeing people answering, and you will also be able to see. And I think yeah, one point I think Meghna Chatterjee has mentioned is that insertion of reflection spot itself brings a lot of change. I think yes, I think that's the biggest learning that I think anyone would have actually, I mean, amongst all the offerings, I think reflection spot has been like a bumper hit is what I would say. Everyone is saying about how useful it is. Dr. Nupuro is now saying that developing reflection spots more consciously. Yes, I think rather than the implicit thing, like what I did just now. I mean, I just asked, opened it up for learners with a question, right? So rather than doing that, how else? I mean, so making it more explicit, that means this happens even before you start delivering. You are consciously thinking of, okay, I need to insert reflection spot here. I need to insert a reflection spot here. So this planning happens much before. I think that is the biggest thing about this particular philosophy. I mean, you will actively think of engaging with your audience. So I have around 60 people in this particular session, and so my idea is that let me try to connect to at least 30 to 40 of you over the next 1 hour. I think that's what I'm trying to do. So let me just read a couple of answers. Teaching is the same, whether, yeah, so I think Lakshmi Shubha is agreeing to you. Suhasini is saying that they are doing classes on Google Classes. Sanskriti is saying we are developing some videos now for case studies for use in climate smart agriculture courses, and I've been discussing about how we will chunk these, what type of interaction we will introduce. Fantastic. I think great to see those responses. Let me just stop sharing. So here is an activity for all the people who are tuning into YouTube just now or at a later point. Go through the chat stream, what happened in the last 3 to 4 minutes. Look at what all different responses have come. Are the responses something similar to what you thought about the question? What kind of planning are you doing after seeing week 1, week 2 lectures of LCM? How has it changed your way or your approach to teaching, either offline or online? I think that's what we would want to hear. So yeah, let's move on to the so Sanskriti. I think yeah, Jati can share the screen, but a larger thing is all these philosophies of engagement existed even prior to it. Okay, so this is specifically what we call as active learning. There are different ways that you do in a regular classroom, but similarly there are, I mean, the online medium provides a greater affordance. So when you are in Zoom and you have all the people there in the session, I mean, you could do breakout rooms, you could do polls, you could do, I mean, the affordances provided by the technology media is something that you would want to explore. So yeah, so this is how you have to think. I mean, so I like that point that one of the learner just mentioned. I mean, be conscious of reflection spots and try to introduce them more explicitly. I think that is the biggest message from the LED week that we would want to give you. Okay, yeah, thanks. Okay, so here is another question. I think this we have seen across multiple offerings, so I will not answer it. Let me. So Kamala, can you try answering that second question? The second question is, if we introduce reflection spot at the end, how can we give immediate feedback?
In my experience, the reflection spot has more of our own answers or I mean, what I did was, in my personal experience, what I did was I gave the question to my peers and they gave me a few answers. Along with the answers that I could think of, I had posted that as an immediate feedback also. So I hope I gave the answer for that question.
Great. So Ritu Ahuja, I'm not sure whether you are there live with us. But yeah, so one way of giving immediate feedback is before even, I mean, if you are planning for a reflection spot towards the end, the idea that Kamala gave is, so she has actually implemented it. So it's not just theoretical thing. Okay, so it's something that has been tried. So one way of doing it is, even before you deliver the lecture or you provide the interaction, try giving it to a couple of your peers, and we'll come to this peer learning in some moment. That is one surprise element for all of you. So this peers will give you some feedback along with your own. I mean, they will also give some answers, and you will also give. You will also have. You would also have thought of one answer to that particular question. So combining these, you can actually post it at a later point. I think that is so. You have to look at what the medium is and appropriately provide that feedback. I think that's what the essence, what Kamala was trying to say. Another way of doing it is, if a reflection spot comes to end, you can start your next lecture or the next video by taking the answers, discussing the answers from there, the reflection spot answers in the subsequent video. So this could be one way of doing it, or you can actually think of converting that into a learning by doing activity. Now, what is a learning by doing activity? That's coming in the upcoming week. The basic model is available. Maybe I'll give you some sneak preview of what LBD is in this particular session. Yeah, thanks, Kamala. Yeah, Jatin, let's move to the next question. Does the elements of LCM models be consistent with enhanced technology affordance possibilities in future? Okay, so
the word teaching when it comes there. So if it is about how to interact about a given topic with the set of learners, so if you take that as a premise, then whatever technology or modus operandi you use, like whether you are in a class, whether you are doing a Zoom meeting, or whether you are doing an online session with some other tool, these elements actually come handy to apply them into that, and that is where, in fact, consistently we are trying to see if we can get that thing better and better. We keep trying. In fact, like Jayakrishnan said, we have some more surprises coming up. Not just this week, probably next week also we'll have something more for you. How we can re-look at these technologies. So the answer is definite yes. And the reason for that is because they are, first of all, they are very modular and they come as a guideline and not as a pre-designed fit element which will only go into that particular slot. So yes, it is, and it is evolving, by the way. So even we are modifying our definition of LCD or LED as and we come to see things. So yeah, tools are helping us do that, and users like all of you are one of the biggest influencers for this modification and let us call upgrade. Yes, that's the answer.
thank you, Dr. Samir. I think, yes, I hope. So, Rajmohan Paneer Selvam, I'm not sure whether you have joined live today in YouTube, but I hope if you watched this particular session, I hope you got the first part of your question. Answer to the first part of the question. I think LCM, like any other philosophy, I think LCM is applicable across across genres, across timelines. It is, if you ask, it's the same thing that Socrates did years and years back. He engaged with students with questions and encourage them to ask questions, engage with the thought process, with the delivery process. So, or take any other kind of schools at that point of time. Engaging the learner is the important part, and giving them more personalization. All those things has evolved, and yeah, we'll be using whatever is the technology provided. I mean, it could be papyrus, which is the plain old paper, or the original of paper. From there, the printed paper. Then it came to radio, it came to TV, it came to computer. You have tablets, you have, what not. I think you will now have VR and AR, all those things coming up, where you just, like in the English movies, sci-fi movies, you will manipulate things in air and try to make sense. But again, the core of all this is how is you as a teacher designing the pedagogy such that these kind of interactions are meaningful and more possible. So this is a prescriptive medicine, prescription through which you can create your own medicine. And it is not copyrighted. It's like any COVID vaccine. You don't need, we will do booster shots every with every new technology. We will add boosters, and these boosters will be developed by you, not by us. So
just to add to that, so yeah, we are just writing paracetamol actually, not like doctors who write the brand name. So we write paracetamol. Now it's up to you which paracetamol you want to have. So it's up to you totally.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. So you want a Dolo 650, you want a Dolo 300. The strength can also be decided by you. So I think, that analogy of prescription is very much true, and I hope you get the gist at this point. Okay. Yeah.
In fact, by the way, by the time we read the next question, I wanted to just share as a curious observation. In fact, we have come across examples where we have applied LCM model to various other kind of formats, not just a MOOC as such. So there have been internal training content created by private limited companies for their staff or for their customers, and they have adopted the model. And like I said, because it's a prescription, so like you must have seen that the doctor has written 5 or 6 medicines, and it is sometimes the patient or the pharmacist who decides that, okay, ये 3 लेने का जरूरत नहीं आपको, you are okay with that, so maybe you don't take this and only take the following. So similarly, we have seen people adopting various elements also. Like some people have just taken up LED or just LXT or LXI or combination of these, and we are waiting to see the results and inferences to say that it works or not works. Whatever it, we are fine with both the answers, but that's how that's what modularity is all about.
Yeah, so I think Rajmohan, I see the next question is also no. Just look at the the next question. I think his next 2 questions are related to analytics, and again I'll pass it on to the discussion forum moderators. I think you should answer this particular thing. Just go to the previous question, Jatin. Based on the fact that this course is offered based on LCM model, I see a possibility of adding additional element which could be integration of analytics into the model. I may be wrong, but more clarity on this could be of great value. Can you go to the next part? If there exists a possibility of analytics as one extended element encompassed within orchestration, is it possible to provide more details on it, maybe as LXTs based on how it's integrated in this course? So I think, again, another on similar note, could you give us few pointers or examples or possibilities of how artificial intelligence can enhance learner-centric MOOCs, particularly personalized learning journey, improve learner instructor feedback interface. So I think all of this, the broad theme is how are you using analytics? Or so analytics at this point could be just could be something as simple as looking at number of posts that are coming in discussion. It could be much fine-grained as, okay, how much time did a person spend in this particular unit, or how many people did this particular assignment. It could be as extended to that also. So I think I will. So let me ask. So Dr. Hari Singh, I think I would just ask Dr. Hari Singh, because he is one of the most active participant in discussion forum. So let's take the case of discussion questions that are coming in. How is a gross level analytics, as in the number of questions that are unread, etc., being used by people like you in discussion forum moderation? Any thoughts that you have to share? Don't think of it as a tool, rather think of it as a look at the view, look at the numbers that are being presented, and then taking an action. How does that happen? Yeah, Dr. Hari, please go ahead. Dr. Hari, you're not audible. I think you'll have to enable your mic.
Still, sir, your voice is not reaching.
Now am I audible, sir? Am I audible?
Now we are audible.
Yeah, now it is better. Now it is
Okay,
better.
okay. Actually, I have not prepared any count and any classification on the queries posted on the discussion forum. But generally, we reply to the queries which are more, which are different from the LXI part. Yes, like sometimes the learners post out of thread, so queries out of thread, and we ask the learners to follow the thread so that we can avoid the scattering over the discussion forum.
Yeah, so this is a simple thing of tags in the Google Groups. So this is a visual indicator. So in a way, you are using some analytics function wherein you see, okay, there is a query which is actually meant for LXI and it is shown outside. So the view actually shows it. So it enables you to point to them that you go back,
Yes.
go to this thread and do it. So this is a very coarse way of using. So and it's a useful way. So Rajmohan, it may not be complex machines churning out data and doing a lot of things, but it's essentially a person, a human. So it's not even artificial. It's a human who is actually parsing the data and making sense of it. So analytics of that nature is actually, I mean, so you have to think of analytics from that perspective, from that particular spectrum. And I think, Hemlata, you have done some analysis beyond this, right? So
Yes,
can you share your experience?
Good afternoon, everybody. Yes, I have analyzed the discussion forum posts, and in this particular offering of the course, we have found that more than 80%, in fact 82% as of yesterday, the posts were concentrated on the LXI, the focus question, etc. Only a few posts were different from this, which were concerned about the logistic aspects, some exam related queries, etc. So this is the analysis that we have till now. And of course, integration of analytics into the model, it can be very useful for the instructors. It helps them view the funnel of participation, how things are progressing, whether they are in alignment with the learning goals and objectives that is designed for this particular course. And for the learners, it can give them an idea about how many of their peers are using these elements, these LCM elements and tools, how popular they are. And when the peers share their experiences, then these analytics can help them. They can help them know what it feels, the feel after a very interactive session, the learner engagement. So when that is written on the discussion forum, that analytics, that helps the learner also. It encourages them. That's my point of view.
And I've also
Thank you,
shared
Hemlata, and thank you for that infographic also. I think that really drives the point. So this is
Thank you, sir.
basically a simple Excel based calculation which is done more manually. And see, with the current technologies, we can actually automate this. We can actually do a lot more things than just presenting graphs. You can actually have a social network created out of the entire discussion. So I'm just using this as an example to tell you that already LCM actually talks of use of analytics in its orchestration. So just look at what we have done even over here. So see, whenever we talk of these big terms, analytics, dashboard and all, many teachers will feel daunted. Okay, so the idea of LCM is, I mean, it should be, it should even have, like what, I'll borrow the paracetamol analogy once more. I mean, it should work for a small fever. Maybe a paracetamol 300 should work. Also, a Dolo 650 should also be there. I mean, you should have sufficient variations. And Pfizer, if it goes more complex, then you should have the Pfizer, Moderna, whatever, the Bharat Biotech, whatever is the Covaxins and all those things. So LCM actually supports all these spectrum by looking at what the technology affordances are. So this, if you look at it, this is something done by the TA group. So that's why specifically we have the TAs also in this session. So it is a more organic thing, and you can see that this entire data is so whenever a discussion forum moderator takes up, and this particular data is getting updated, and they have more insights. So the discussion forum moderators can actually look at, okay, where are the more posts going? What should we do next? So like the surprise element that is coming up today, we will have some more things. Should we try some new strategies? Should we try something new? Let us look at how engagement happens. And at the end of the day, it is all about how can you engage learners? How can you make sure that the process is very much learner centric? I think that's the whole idea. And I think it's not about whether you are using artificial intelligence as in the machine, or the artificial intelligence as in the group of people involved in the course offering. I think the main point is you should have intelligence. I mean, you should have somebody should be there to there should be data for the intelligence, and there should be somebody intelligent enough to make use of it in the course of orchestration. I think that's what LCM teaches you. And so you could use, so I mean, if you take this example of the LCM alums, instructors and TAs, you could see, I mean, it's done across. I mean, you try to build a community around the course, and you try to ensure that there is sufficient engagement happening both offline as well as online. I think that's the whole idea behind orchestration. And yes, if you have machines, if you have computing power, if you have the people to code, then yeah, this could be a much more easier task. I mean, yeah, you wouldn't have to put that much human effort behind this entire process. So that's how we would see use of analytics, use of artificial intelligence, whatever the terminology be. And we will be dealing with this in week 4 when we talk about orchestration in more detail. Jatin, maybe we may have to note this down. Maybe we could take the current the example that Hemlata was sharing. I mean, this is one example of how we are using analytics real time. and yeah, this could actually be something that we can give as an LXT resource. Let's see how we
Sure.
can design it.
Sir, I would request the participants to put this kind of queries, this kind of intellectual queries specifically on forum, so that we can keep a record of it and other participants can also benefit.
Yeah, so again, thanks Jatin for reminding. So maybe one thing that you can do is put this list of queries as the consolidated list of queries that we are discussing today. Let us put them back onto discussion forum and open up a thread on that itself. I mean, it could be a parallel LXI that goes on for till the course ends or till the exams happen. So this might be a good exercise for everyone, regardless of whether you are writing the exam or not. This could be a good thread. I mean, all these questions, let us also look at different points of view. It would be really nice to see it, and I would request so don't just be limited with that LXI thing. I mean, if you have these kind of queries, please feel free to post it in discussion forum. Our team would be more than happy to engage with you. We may not have a complete answer, but we may have our own versions of the answer, and hopefully that would help in addressing the major query that you are having. Yeah. So Shriji, Kurup, and Rajmohan, if you are watching this live session, I hope you would get the answer to your query. Thanks. Thanks for those wonderful questions. I think it's a very meaningful questions that you have pointed out. Yeah, please go ahead. Next. I want to make my synchronous lectures learner-centric. Please provide some useful tips for that. Is the course in any PDF format? Soft copies available for learning in the course? How to join discussion forum? Is there any book for learning? Okay, so these so to address the first question, I hope in this synchronous session where in the synchronous session, all of you are in front of a YouTube chat, but synchronously in front of YouTube chat. I hope most of you, I think I can see a lot of you, 41 at this point, but I see a good amount of discussion happening in the YouTube chat. So I hope you got an idea of how to make synchronous lectures more learner-centric. I hope you can take one piece from here. Is the course there in any PDF format? Soft copy is available for learning in the course. So yeah, let me give you a sneak preview to the first surprise that I'm having. So I hope all of you are able to access the course at this point. And if you look at the course right now, so I have so I have just made some changes in the course, and let me just share my screen. Hopefully this will address that specific question. So let me just share my screen over here. Okay, just hold on. 1 minute. I think I may have. Yeah. Got it. So if all of you are having your mobiles or computers right in front of you, I would want all of you to just go to the course right now. You will see a surprise entry in over there. So you see two things. Okay, let me just so this is the Designing Learner-Centric MOOC. and you see just beneath week 2, you have PDF resources. And the first PDF resource is text LED. Okay, so what is text LED? It's a learning dialogue which is in text format. Okay, and we have a ePDF reader called Bookroll, in which we have uploaded some of our lectures. Okay, so if you click on this, you can actually see one of the upcoming upcoming content which we have actually so it will come in the next week, which is what is an LBD. Okay, so here you can see that it is a PDF reader. The text is there, and so the main text is there, and yes, you can see we'll now go to reflection spot. So there is a reflection spot inside it. Couple of features that you would find really interesting is this particular feature, this particular tool allows you to mark. So there is something called marker. So let's say important. So learn by, sorry, I think I marked it wrong. So learning by doing is a formative assessment and all those things. So let me just take this particular portion. So just like how you highlight in a typical notebook, you could do this. You could use your mouse and create portions. You could mark important portions. Another important thing that you can actually do is you can add something called memo. So what does memo do? I go here. So there is a reflection spot. Okay, so this reflection spot says differences between a learning by doing activity and a regular multiple choice quiz. What are some differences? List 2 differences. There is a space over here. If it was a regular paper, you would have written in that particular blank, right? So this is a nice place where you talk about LBD, and then suddenly this portion is there where you want people to answer. What would be nice is if you look at this, there is something called memo, and I can actually click on that particular space where I want to put the memo, and let's say answer to reflection spot, which is the title of my memo, and I can actually write. Okay, so LBDs require formative feedback. Feedback should be instructive. So I click over here. I could actually do drawings also. If I have a pen, then I can actually go ahead and I can actually see over here. I change the mode, and I can actually write. Okay, so this is so if you have a pen or any other writing device, I could actually draw something also over here. So it's like if you are watching through mobile, then if you have a stylus or something, you could use it. This actually allows that kind of functionality too. So this is what this Bookroll or PDF reader actually helps. And you can actually see once you create a memo, it becomes it comes over here in a highlighted way. And so this comes in over there, and you can actually see some kind of whatever you noted, it will be available over there at any point of time. You can come back, you can relook at it. So this is the PDF reader that we are introducing. And if you actually look at the lecture transcripts, we have actually uploaded all of these contents regarding the lectures till now. It has been uploaded onto the Bookroll, and you can individually look at. So if you had seen Perceptions of MOOCs, it was a dialogue. I mean, it is a discussion between the 4 main course instructors, Professor Sahana, Professor Sridhar, Dr. Samir, and me. So you can see that this entire discussion is being captured over here, and you can go through it page by page. And this allows mobile first. It's a mobile first technology, so you can even read it from your mobile as well. So this is what I wanted to introduce to you as the first surprise, essentially telling you that it's not just about, I mean, it's not just PDF materials. It's not about video LEDs. It's also about how the other materials can be converted into learning dialogues by sequencing and chunking and introducing explicit questions that make you think about it, make you think about the content a little bit more. So this is one surprise that I wanted to share with you. There are other materials over there. So all those learners who are now with us live, you can go ahead and see these book roll and get everything. Okay, so Explore will put up a manual, do not worry. So I mean, yeah, there is somebody who is saying that after highlighting important stuff, all features disappear. Do not worry, just go and click on that pen button once more, everything will come back. Okay, so don't worry. I mean, this week we just wanted to introduce this tool to you. The detailed book roll will come to you in the next week with a content, with a help manual and everything. So go ahead, whatever you want to try, go ahead and try in the book roll. Let's see what all are the problems. You can post all your problems in discussion forum. Let us also hear it out. This is you trying to do a lot of interactions and explicit help. So this is another technology exploration that we would encourage all of you to have. Okay. So the soft copies. So currently PDF, book roll allows download of PDF, but specifically because we want you to interact with the content, we have disabled PDF download till end of the exam. Okay, so maybe a week prior to the exam, we may, I mean, yeah, that's an internal discussion that we'll have. At least till end of the 4 weeks, no PDFs can be downloaded. But afterwards, we will allow you to download. Maybe we'll introduce a couple of new features for you to experiment and see what's happening. So that, yeah, in case you want to continue with book roll, that would actually help you a lot, is what we feel. So this is surprise 1. The next question, how to join in discussion forum? Is there any book for learning? So I think there is a unit called books where this entire transcript is there. But I think much more than books, it is about your own experience. I mean, each person takes specific portions from LCM and they adapt it to their context. You bringing back this context in the discussion forum is the true learning. So to join the discussion forum, I believe Jatin will post a note. I think it is already there in the course itself. To go, you have to click on ask a question, and over there you will see a discussion group. The join group. It's discussion forum is nothing but a Google group. You have to just click on plus join the group, and you can join the discussion forum. You can also participate in the discussion without even joining. Even that is possible. Is there any explicit book for learning? No, I don't think there is a separate book for learning. I think we believe that your own personal experiences are the greatest resources, and we encourage all of you to bring it back to the course. Okay, so this is one part of it. Jatin, can we move to the next set of questions? How to get opportunity to work for development of MOOCs and content writer, subject matter expert for modules of MOOCs. Pratibha, this is currently out of scope of this course. Maybe we'll discuss this. I mean, let's post it in discussion forum. Let's hear out what others have to say about this opportunities and other things. Let's see what the community has to say too. Dr. J. Shanti wants to know any free online courses in arts and science. Dr. Shanti, the entire set of Swayam courses. So this time we will have, so if you look at NPTEL, we have 600 courses. Out of 600 courses, I think around 10% are there in arts and science. Okay, which will be around 60, 70 courses in arts and science. And there is the other set of Swayam courses by other coordinators like CEC, IGNU, NITTR, IIM Bangalore. So all these are also running in on Swayam. So please go ahead, take a look at all the set of courses. You will see a lot of courses, and see, Swayam, the policy is absolutely free learning. Only for exams you have to pay the fees. So please go ahead, enroll. The NPTEL courses enrollment has been extended for a week more, so you can use this opportunity to join those courses, and you will see, yeah, hopefully you will be able to explore a lot of arts and science courses with us. The next question: what is the future of designing in engineering industry? How can collaboration of designing with artificial intelligence be helpful? So Ayush Rathor, again, this is beyond the scope of this particular session. Generally, design skills, I think some part of it within the context of course design, we have already explained previously when we were talking about analytics and artificial intelligence. I hope you can take it from there. What is the basic aim or use of this program? Mohan Ramasai Manidhar. Okay, so any of the TAs want to take a shot at it? I think I'll leave it to you rather than me saying what you think is the basic aim or use of this. I think by program, what Manidhar is mentioning is about the course. Does somebody want to answer?
Yes, sir. I hope I'm audible. Am I audible, sir?
Yeah, you are audible, Jatin. Go ahead.
So the basic aim over here is to train teachers on specifically creating learner-centric MOOCs, how to bring the learner centricity into the MOOC level. When we are doing synchronous classes, live classes, or offline classes, it's very easy to interact with the learners and get a connect with the learner, and in fact become learner-centric. And in that we experience the whole class environment, and we get connected to our learners very easily, and thus it becomes very easy for us to deliver as per their needs. But in a context like MOOC, it's very hard to do live interaction sessions like the similar one which we are doing right now is very rarely or very rarely happens in the context of MOOCs. Fortunately, in our Swayam courses, we have this option of doing live interaction. Otherwise, in most of the MOOCs platforms, there is no live interaction happening. All those are all recorded videos, pre-generated content, and pre-designed questions, and all those things are there. So now here the learner centricity is very much important thing. How do you bring that learner centricity into your massive online open course, where the massiveness is one of the biggest challenge, and being learner centric in these kind of content, which is a kind of passive content, not an active interactive content. How do you make it interactive? How do you make it learner centric? That's the main challenge, and that's why the designers of LCM model have come up with this particular learner centric MOOC model, which specifically helps instructors like us to create learner centric MOOCs. How we can make the videos interactive, how we can that is by LED, how we can generate learning by doing activities which provide good feedback, constructive feedback to the learners, how we cater to different needs of different users using various LXTs, and how specifically we indulge in online forums with lots of users with the help of some team, and do some uh, uh, not a direct communication but an indirect communication through forum or social media channels or something like that. So this is the main aim, that is you specifically bring learner centricity into an online course on a massive level, and that is the main aim of our LCM model. I hope I have answered the question well.
Yeah, anybody else want to add on to what Jatin said? Basic aim or use of this program? I think Jatin covered most of the points. Anybody wants to add their own versions, just so that we can hear multiple voices? Dr. Siddhi, do you want to add something?
Yes, actually, Jatin has already mentioned most of the important points. But from my experience, this has helped me a lot. This course has helped me a lot in improving the way I deliver classes, improving the way I maintain contact with the classes, and a couple of times when I had to stay away from my class, I could I did a few things with my online classes when I was not able to get in touch with them personally. So this has helped me. From my experience, this course has definitely helped me. And like Jatin has already mentioned most of the points there.
Yes,
This is actually an encouragement for other faculty or other instructors to launch their own MOOC in their own subject if they feel like they want to. So that's all from my side.
I would like to comment on this, ma'am, that specifically this model is also not limited to MOOCs itself. Now, since the pandemic had started, we have started incorporating these concepts into our online learning and
Exactly.
other teaching activities. So it's not, I would suggest that don't keep it limited to the LCM model. That is, the LCM model should not be limited to the MOOCs itself, but you should try to bring it in your own classes and live classes and live interactions and even offline sessions also. Maybe Madhuri would like to say something more onto it.
Yeah, thank you, Jatin. Actually, I was contemplating on what you and Siddhi said, and I just want to add on to this, like bringing. Okay, in learner centricity in MOOCs, we are discussing about that. Learner centricity in the regular classrooms, we are definitely discussing about that. But what we need to note is that there is a lot of social emotion learning happening through through bringing in learner centricity. It's not just that we are juggling with the content. We are trying to create the communities of practice. We are trying to like connect like-minded people, come together and like generate a lot of learning, lot of ideas. And one thing I've seen is that this can be used even at the school level. So even like when you are conducting your synchronous sessions at the school level as well, and this brings in a lot of engagement in the learners. And then yeah, socially and emotionally also the learners connect to each other. So the more so I would like to focus on the LXIs, where you have a lot of interaction and a lot of learning happening, much more than the content that is put across, is what I felt. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Annapurna. I think I think it's so rather than me saying what, I think it's better that the learners themselves say their own benefits, so that it is a much more convincing thing for people who are actually seeing this interaction either now synchronously or at a later point of time asynchronously. This part of this community, I think we have one more bigger surprise for you in this week. I think we will start that particular thing where we want the community to come together and help each other out. And we have specifically designed an activity which is nothing but a peer review within the course. So I'll just walk you through what the peer review process is. The details and the other, the platform specific details will be provided as instructions in book roll. But this is a learning by doing activity on LEDs. I think this week you would have seen LED reflection spot. You would also have seen LED constructor. This activity is specifically based on that. The idea is first of all, what is peer review? I think when you talk of peer review, we want to really understand what peer review is. So peer review is a collaborative process of learning, and it requires skills which are at analysis, evaluation, and also the skill of providing feedback. I think these two are two critical components. One is cognitive, one requires the maturity to tone the words, provide that appropriate level of support through textual or other kind of means. So this is something that helps in a collaborative learning. It brings in that, whenever somebody else reviews your content, it gives a good feeling when they give constructive feedback. Okay, so that emotion, the connection is strengthened through this activity. Why should I do peer review in this course? This is a larger design principle of the LCM model. So the bigger principle is that every LEDs should be interspersed with LBDs. LBDs is learning by doing activity. And peer review is one of the most highest form of learning by doing, where it promotes collaborative learning. Okay, so here is a question which I want all of you to think about. How does peer review done in an online setting promote collaborative learning? So this is a open reflection spot to all of you. Please take some time to think about this question. So this is a reflection spot which is given towards the end of the session. Okay, so I'll try to address some critical parts, but typically if you want to look at this answer, there are two phases of peer review. First is the submission phase and the other is the peer evaluation phase. These are the major elements, but yeah, let me show you the step-by-step way in which you will have to do peer review. So first, there will be a problem statement or a question on which you have to create something. We will also provide you with an evaluation rubric, the criteria based on which we will evaluate your answer submissions. Okay, so you have question and you have, let's say, the checklist for answering. Okay, so you have both this. Then what you should do, you should create your submission by reading through the problem statement, and based on evaluation rubric, phrase your answer such that your evaluation rubric will be much more easier for you to achieve a target performance, whatever is intended by course instructors. This is what you have to do, create your submission. Because this is a technology platform, there are specific ways in which you have to submit your submissions. So read those submissions instructions also carefully and submit. So now you have written down your answer. I think for this week we have LED constructor as the peer review activity. So I hope all of you would have seen what the LED constructor is. You'll have to download that, create your own LED plan, look at the self-evaluation rubric, and refine it, and then upload it in a shared drive. Okay, make sure that the others have only view permissions. It could be Dropbox, it could be Google Drive, it could be any other iCloud, whatever. Just ensure that you have enabled only view permissions of that, and share that drive URL in the text box that will be coming. So all those, we will open up the submission, the question and problem statement tomorrow. So please wait for it. Some instructions, if you are confused, just go through these questions. What should you submit? Before which date should you submit? Because this is a time bound activity. There are due dates. Okay. So make sure that you submit before the due date, and also look at how many peers should you review. So when I submit something, then it is available for some n number of peers. The same submission is shared with some 3 to 5 other peers in the same course. And so basically, if you submit something, then there is only if you submit will you get somebody else's submission for review. So please take a look at how many peers you should review and before which date should you submit the peer review. So the dates and the submissions are pretty important. So make sure that you read the instructions properly. A detailed document on how to submit, what to submit, the instructions, everything will be provided again in this book roll by tomorrow by our team. So please make sure that you read it. So peer review, again, read your peer submission, check the evaluation rubric, evaluate your peer against each rubric criteria, and most important, provide feedback comments. Comments should be constructive, and just keep in mind that the comments that you provide are the most important part in this particular learning process. So I think I'll just ask, yeah, Ambili, you are there, right? So Ambili, how has been internal peer reviews happening for all the materials that are getting created in this course? Can you shed some light on that? Ambili, you there?
Hello. Yes, sir. Can you repeat?
Yeah, so in this entire course creation process also, the materials that all of you create, it goes through a lot of peer reviews, right?
Yes, yes.
So how is peer review helping you in the learning process? Can you shed some light on that?
Yeah. With the peer review process, we get to learn ourselves. Like we get to know more comments, more deeper we get the knowledge about the topics. So it's a good kind of thing to do in the process of learning.
Okay.
Who is sitting near to our class, our own friend who is explaining to us, we get to have a kind of that feeling. It's a MOOC that we are attending, so that was a very good experience for me that I got from this course. Many other courses I have done, but the discussion forum is actually a very fantastic experience of this learner-centric MOOC course. That was a fantastic experience that I had when I attended.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Ambili. I think, see, some of these ideas, if you look at the older offerings of LCM, some of these inputs that we got in discussion forum, that led us to formalize this peer review as a formal process within the system, and we brought in those features. The peer review is completely ungraded. It's a practice activity. Is primarily for your own benefit. So make sure that you provide. See, another typical problem that we see is whenever we create an LED, I mean, it is impossible for the course team to go through individual submissions in a MOOC. But when you try to ensure that there's some amount of peer review happening, I think that the larger responsibility gets shared across everyone. I mean, every course team, learners. So, I mean, we will step in when there is some kind of discrepancy in peer review. All those, we would step in at that point of time. But in general, this actually increases the collaboration. And so essentially, if you look at it right now, so peer review results in your submission plus feedback by peers. Okay, so this is what I mean. You would have started with just one submission, but because of peer review, it would have gotten improved by a lot of things. So so there is this material on what is LBD, the PDF resource which we have uploaded in Bookroll. So go ahead and check what is an LBD and see whether how peer review and LBD comes in, and how it improves collaboration. This is a point that we will leave. This reflection spot question that I had asked: how does a peer review done online promote collaborative learning? I'll keep it open-ended. Learners, please feel free to post a separate discussion. It could be individual discussion. So TAs, do not worry about scattering of discussions. Let the posts come anywhere. This is a live synchronous LXI that we have created. So to all those people who are answering watching this session, this is an LXI where you have the freedom to go ahead, think of your response and draft it. You can do it across the entire duration of the program. But yeah, please do share your thoughts. It would be nice to hear from you. So I think that's pretty much what I wanted to discuss in the session today. It's almost 1 hour and 15 minutes. Typically our sessions are 1 hour, but it has been fantastic. I mean, I think all TAs chipped in. So yeah, Ishika and Nandan, who are the EdTech TAs, TAs from the EdTech department, some thoughts on how this LCM course is. I think you are doing this TA for the first time, right, Ishika and Nandan?
Sorry, sir, they have to leave for a meeting specifically.
Okay. Sorry, I think I crossed the time. I think they have regular classes and other things for them also. Sorry for that. But I think in general, what I wanted to show you is how can a small session, this is just 1 hour kind of duration, would be we could orchestrate it with this collective and bring in different points of views for different. So you had audience presenting the questions, we provided different perspectives, and how this actual session becomes a rich resource on its own. I think this is something that each of you who are watching this session should take back. How many people spoke in today's session? What kind of point of views came in this session? And imagine what you could do with a similar kind of design in your own lecture classrooms, where it's not just you who is speaking. You speak for some amount of time, but you also give equal amount of time for your students. How much difference will that make? These are certain thoughts that I would want each of you to take back at the end of the session. Any closing comments from any one of you? I think we can safely wrap it up at this point.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your nice session.
I
Yes,
wanted to point to the chat which was happening on the YouTube, and it was quite a crossfire, I should say, in the sense that a lot of questions were asked and a lot of answers were provided right then and there. So that's a good thing to see. Very happy to see that kind of interaction personally, and I would love to see that more often. In fact, it is not restricted that only DFMs can comment, but yeah, everyone is more invited to this, so that we can actually learn from each other. So that is where I think kudos to all those who were active on the discussion forum. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks. I think, yeah, so that is something I think across each offering, we have seen this kind of involvement from learners. First week, it is a bit slow. I think after the first interaction session and the first set of LXIs, it will slowly pick up pace. So we hope that we will be able to engage you more in the upcoming weeks, because we have the LBDs, LXIs, and LXTs along with orchestration that we have to discuss in the coming 3 weeks. But the content itself is open. I mean, all of us are available till the exam date. Even after exam date, we are available. So please feel free to post any of your thoughts in the discussion forum. We would be really happy to engage with you. And yeah, it was first of all a big thanks to all the TAs who joined today. All of them are teachers or are working professionals, so to say. So teachers in different areas, geographical locations. So thanks to all of you for sparing your time. The TAs from ETIITB, thank you very much for presenting, being present in the initial 1.5 hours, and also answering some of the posts in YouTube chat. Big thanks to the NPTEL IITB team, Sandeep and others, for setting up this interaction and streaming it live to everyone. And finally, a big thanks to all my co-instructors of this course, without whom this entire idea of LCM would not have been possible. So stay safe, everyone. Have lots of water. Enjoy LCM. Make sure that you bring in your own versions of paracetamols in the coming days for all your learners. That's all from here from us. Thanks, everyone. Sandeep, I think you can stop streaming now. We are almost done.
Thank you.